Hey everyone, we're starting a new reading vlog. It's pretty dark out because it's like there's a storm, but I'm at Half Price Books. I just got 2 new books, The Coldest Touch and Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. They're both queer from what I've read on the back, so I like that, and I like that this one has some supernatural elements. So I'm pretty excited about those, but I wanted to pick out some books for this reading vlog to read. And this reading vlog, we're gonna read, instead of just doing the roulette wheel where it picks a random book, we're gonna read by genre. So let's go to our roulette wheel. And this is our roulette wheel. We've got seasonal, historical fiction, slice of life, witchy, aliens, death, vampires, corny romance, cozy fantasy, crime fighters, set in space, fantasy action, competition, adventure, dark humor, murder mystery, and did I say seasonal? So I'm pretty excited. We're gonna pick a couple of books. So I want to read, maybe we'll pick 2 graphic novels for now and 2 audiobooks. So let's start with an audiobook. We got Set in Space. So I have a queer audiobook that's set in space. I think, let me look. I'm looking, I know I have, it's by Becky Chambers. A Closed and Common Orbit. So we'll read that. Let me add it to the list. Yeah, Closed and Common Orbit. I was just double checking that I didn't already read that one. Okay, let's pick a graphic novel. Historical fiction. Okay, I'll do The Princess and the Dressmaker. Let's do an audiobook. Okay, I got Set in Space again. Let's spin again. Okay, I got Corny Romance. I'll do Delilah Green Doesn't Care. And then we'll do another graphic novel. It gave me Murder Mystery. So I don't have a murder mystery graphic novel, but I have a mystery graphic novel, Goldie Vance, Volume 1. Okay, so these are the books we have. Set in Space, a closed and common orbit, Historical fiction, The Prince and the Dressmaker. Corny romance, Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Murder mystery, Goldie Vance, Volume 1. Let's do one more audiobook. I got dark humor. We'll do convenience store woman. Since we're doing genres this time, some of these are queer and some of them aren't. So, 2 of them aren't. Goldie Vance, I don't think is queer. And then Convenience Store Women, I don't think is queer. But we'll find out. So yeah, these are our books we're reading. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we're going to try to read. And then I might add... Well, you know what? The last vlog, we did 7 books. Let's add 2 more. Let's do a graphic novel. We got crime fighters. I'll do Heavy Vinyl Volume 1. And then we'll do one more. We'll do an audiobook. I got Cozy Fantasy. So I think I have the perfect book for that. Cozy Fantasy. We can do either Twilight Falls by Janot Black or Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. I think I'll do Twilight Falls. those are all our books. So we're reading Set in Space, A Closed and Common Orbit, Historical Fiction, The Prince and the Dressmaker, Corny Romance, Delilah Green Doesn't Care, Murder Mystery, Goldie Vance, Volume 1, Dark Humor, Convenience Store Woman, Crime Fighters, Heavy Vinyl, Volume 1, Cozy Fantasy, Twilight Falls. Okay, I think that's everything. I wonder if Twilight Falls counts as cozy fantasy, because it's talking animals, but they don't have magic powers or anything. I think it counts. We'll count it. Okay, this is a long clip. I'll see you in the next clip. Hello, it's the next day, and I am a frog. I have my frog outfit on. I'm very excited about it. I like it a lot. I've got my frog backpack. And yes, and we're gonna go get some books at Half Price Books. I'm looking for more queer books, of course. And yeah, we're gonna walk around and look at the books in Half Price Books. Let's go. Okay, I'm back in my car. I didn't find very many books, but this is what I got. I got the Ogre series by Travis Baldry. So I got both books. I got Legends and Lattes, which I've read, and Bookshops and Bone Dust, which I just downloaded on Audible. And then I got two books that I've never heard of. Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey, and The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. So those look interesting. This one's a little damaged, but it was only $5. But I thought this one was interesting, Gravity of Us, because it says it's set in Houston, Texas. I was like, ooh, that's cool. And then this one's set in a bookstore. The person owns a bookstore, and the other person they do a family property development business. But I liked that the one person owned a bookstore, so that was cool. And then they said, I asked him about like more queer books when I went to check out, and he said he couldn't really help if I didn't have a title or an author. So they can't look up books by genre, which is kind of a bummer because I want to find new books. I don't really know all the books ever, so kind of a bummer. They probably have more queer books in there, but if I don't know the title and the author, I'm not going to find them. So yeah, Half Price Books is kind of hard to find the books, but I found them. I found 4. So let's go to Barnes & Noble next. I'm going to charge my camera and also go to Starbucks. Let's go. Okay, we made it to Barnes & Noble. We're going to check out what they have, see if they have any new queer books, and then we'll see from there. I kind of want to go to Bedrock City Comics. I think that's what they're called. Or a comic book store of some sort and see what they have. So we'll see about that when we leave Barnes & Noble. Okay, I'm leaving Barnes & Noble, and these are the books I got. This is called Side Effects, and it says Hannah's dealing with a lot in her first year of college. To make matters worse, she's also battling her own brain in the form of anxiety and depression. Fortunately, her therapist has put her on some meds to help, but those meds cause some unintended side effects, like sleepless nights, pounding headaches, and in Hannah's case, superpowers. Okay, we made it to Arkham Comics and Games. So we're gonna go in and see what they have and look around and stuff. Okay, so these are the books I got today. I got these 4 at Half Price Bookstore. The Gravity of Us, Read Between the Lines, Legends and Lattes, and Bookshops and Bone Dust. Then I went to Barnes & Noble and I got some books. I got this book. So this is Ever After. Eric hadn't thought much about what would happen after he completed the prophecy that he was destined to save the kingdom of air from its evil ruler. That said, he was destined to save the kingdom of air from its evil ruler. So this looks really interesting. I really want to read this. And then I got My Roommate is a Vampire. Cassie Greenberg loves being an artist, but it's a tough way to make a living. On the brink of eviction, she's desperate when she finds a too-good-to-be-true apartment in a beautiful Chicago neighborhood. So that looks interesting. That one is not queer. And then When Women Were Dragons, which I think is supposed to be a metaphor for being queer. Something like that. I read about it online, so I got this. It says, Alex Green lives in a world much like ours, except for the most seminal event. The mass dragoning of 1955, when hundreds of thousands of women sprouted wings, scales, and talons and took to the skies. Was it their choice? What became of those left behind? What did Alex's beloved aunt Marla transform? Why did Alex's beloved aunt Marla transform, but her mother did not? Alex doesn't know. It's taboo to speak of. So that looks interesting. And then I got some graphic novels at Barnes & Noble. This one, Side Effects. It says, Hannah doesn't want to be a hero. She just wants to be well. Hannah's dealing with a lot in her first year of college, and to make matters worse, she's also battling her own brain in the form of anxiety and depression. Fortunately, her therapist has put her on some meds to help, but those meds have caused some unintended side effects, like sleepless nights, pounding headaches, and in Hannah's case, superpowers. So that looked really interesting. She gets superpowers from taking mental health meds. So that's really cool. I don't know if she likes the superpowers or not, but it looks cool. And then I got 2 volumes of one story, Magical Boy. And I've been looking for this book for a while because it's a trans story and I wanted to support it. It says, a breathtakingly imaginative fantasy series starring Max, a high schooler chosen to become the next magical girl. There's just one catch. He's a trans boy. Although he was assigned female at birth, Max is your average trans boy trying to get through high school as himself. But on top of classes, crushes, and coming out, Max's life is turned upside down when his mom reveals an eons-old family secret. He's descended from a long line of magical girls tasked with defending humanity from a dark, ancient evil. So that looks really interesting. And I got volume 1 and volume 2. And then this is called Other Ever Afters. And it looked really pretty. And it says, New Queer Fairy Tales. So pretty much all of these are queer except my roommate is a vampire. I think, yes. It says, this is Other Ever Afters. Come visit a happily ever after where princes are spurned but monsters are wed, where castles crumble while villages thrive, and where knights lay down their swords only to have peasants pick them up. So that looks interesting, and the artwork is really pretty. I flipped through a little bit while I was in the store, and I thought it looked really interesting. And then this one I've already read, so I read this in another vlog. Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, but I didn't have the hard copy, and I wanted it for my shelf. So, Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. It says, all Freddie Riley wants is for Laura Dean to stop breaking up with her. The day they got together was the best one of Freddie's life, but nothing made sense since. Laura Dean is popular, funny, and so cute, but she can really be thoughtless and even mean. Their on-again, off-again relationship has Freddie's head spinning, and Freddie's friends can't understand why she keeps going back. So I did really like this when I read it. It was very cool, and everything was pink. I guess in the hard copy there's more black and gray, but I remember it being very pink. Yeah. So, and then I went to a comic book store and I got 2 comics. I really got 3, but I'm gonna return one because it's a little too adult for me. I'm an adult, but it was a little too much. So I got DC Pride Through the Years #1. I really like the cover. And then I got Alternates. So this one might not be queer either, but I like the cover. Yeah, I don't think this one's queer, but the cover was really cool. She has like a wolf hand, so that intrigued me. But yeah, that was everything that I got today. Tomorrow I'm going out to some bookstores with my brother, so I don't know if I'm going to get anything, but I'll show you if I do. But yeah, I'll see you in the next clip. Okay, so I finished reading a few books. I finished The Prince and the Dressmaker. That was our historical fiction book. Our murder mystery, that's really just a mystery, Goldie Vance, Volume 1. Crime Fighters, I finished Heavy Vinyl for Crime Fighters, Volume 1. And then for dark humor, I finished Convenience Store Woman. And I liked all of them pretty much. Goldie Vance, I thought I wasn't liking at first, but then I kept reading it, and I ended up liking it, and I liked the characters. I liked who Goldie got together with. I thought it was cute. All the characters and their hairstyles and things like, and their outfits, I thought that was very cute. So that was really nice. And then The Prince and the Dressmaker, I liked it. I thought in the middle that something else was gonna happen, and then the ending like surprised me, but it was, when you read it, it's kind of obvious, but it's not obvious until you get to the end. So that was fun. And then for Crime Fighters, Heavy Vinyl, that was really, I thought, well done. I liked that book a lot. I liked the artwork, I liked the story, and I can't wait to read another one of those. So that's a series I want to continue. And the Convenience Store Woman was pretty awesome. It was very short. It was only a little over 3 hours, and I really enjoyed it. It was about this woman, all she wants to do is work at this convenience store, and her family's like acting like she's weird, and talking about she needs to get married, she needs to have kids, she needs to get a better job, and all she wants to do is work at the convenience store. And I really liked that book, and I think I might pick up her other book. I think it's called Earthlings. So yeah, I liked that book. I liked her writing. So next we have our fantasy. I added this book, Fantasy Humor. So this is Ever After. I bought it in the last clip, and then I spun the wheel after my camera died, and I got Fantasy Humor, so we added that book. And then we have the books that we already had: Cozy Fantasy, Twilight Falls. We have Corny Romance, Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and Set in Space, A Closed and Common Orbit. And then I'm going to spin for some graphic novels or books on Kindle. So let's do that. We'll do 2. We got vampires. Can you see that? We got vampires. So let me look. There's witch blood. And then, let me see. I think on Kindle the only one about vampires I have is witch blood. So we'll read that. And then let's spin one more time. For Kindle. And we got historical fantasy. Historical fantasy. I think The Princess and the Grilled Cheese should count. Okay, so those are the 2 we're going to read. Witch Blood and The Princess and the Grilled Cheese. We'll add those to the list. And then the rest of these are audiobooks, so we'll listen to those as we go. Okay, I'll see you in the next clip. So I'm back home. I just went to a bunch of bookstores with my brother, and we got a few things. So this one he recommended to me, Fables. I don't think it's queer, but he said it was very interesting and very cool. So I'm going to check it out. It looks very well done and the artwork looks really nice. So that's really cool. And he said it's about fairy tales that have been run out of their own world by like a creature or like a king of some sort. So that's interesting. And then we went to a comic book store, but we didn't really see anything in there that we liked. I tried to return something. They said I couldn't return a comic book, which I thought was, I didn't read it, you know? But that's okay. I got rid of it. But this one is The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea. And this was a book I was looking for, and they had it at the Barnes & Noble. And it says, the pirate Florian, born Flora, has always done whatever it takes to survive. Now that means sailing under false flag on the Dove as a marauder, thief, and worse. Lady Evelyn Hasagawa, a highborn imperial daughter, is on board as well, accompanied by her own casket. Lady Evelyn's one-way voyage to an arranged marriage is interrupted when the captain and crew show her their true colors and enslave their wealthy passengers. But when Florian and Evelyn fall in love, they decide to take fate into their own hands, no matter the cost. So that looks interesting. And then this is a book that I have on my Kindle, The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. So I'm interested in reading this. I didn't realize that it had a hard copy. I thought it was just a digital book. So I got the hard copy at Barnes & Noble. It says, Lady Camembert wants to live a life on her own terms without marriage. Well, without marrying a man, that is. But the law of the land is that family fortunes cannot be passed down to women. So when her father passed away, she does the only thing she can. She disguises herself as a man and moves to the capital city in the kingdom of Fromage to start over as Count Camembert. But it's hard to keep a low profile when the beautiful Princess Brie, with her fierce activism and great sense of fashion, catches Cam's attention. Cam can't resist getting to know the princess, but as the two go closer, will she be able to keep her secret? So it's a romantic comedy, and it looks really good. I haven't read it yet, but I have it on my Kindle to read. And then this one I have on Audible to read, but I haven't read yet. The Witch King. So I'm excited about this. It looks very interesting. It says, in Assailin, Fae rule and witches like Wyatt Croft don't. Wyatt's betrothal to Fae Prince Immer North was supposed to change that. But when Wyatt lost control of his magic one devastating night, he fled to the human world. Now a coldly distant Immer has hunted him down. Despite transgender Wyatt's newfound identity and troubling past, Immer claims they must marry now or risk losing the throne. Jaded, Wyatt strikes a deal with the enemy, hoping to escape Assailin forever. But as he gets to know Immer again, Wyatt realizes the boy he once loved may still exist. And as the witches face worsening conditions, he must decide what's more important, his people or his freedom. So that looks interesting. Look at this cover. Can you see the cover? That cover looks really cool. And then next we have a holiday book. I think 2 holiday books, but this one doesn't really say specifically it's a holiday book. But this is specifically a holiday book. It's called The Holiday Trap. From a cozy New England haven, Greta Rusikoff loves her tight-knit family and tiny Maine hometown, but they can't seem to understand what it's like to be a lesbian living in such a small world. When an act of familial meddling goes way too far, she realizes just how desperately she needs space to figure out who she is. To the heart of New Orleans, Truman Belvedere's heart is crushed when he learns that his boyfriend has a secret life, including a husband and daughter. Reeling, all he wants is a place to lick his wounds far, far away from Louisiana. Comes one holiday swap that'll change their lives. Enter a mutual friend with a life-altering idea. Swap homes for the holidays. For one perfect month, Greta and Truman will have a chance to experience a whole new world, and maybe fall in love with the partner of their dreams. But all holidays must come to an end, and eventually these two transplants will have to decide whether the love and found family they each discovered so far from home is worth fighting for. So that looks interesting. I thought it would be a nice, Christmas book or, holiday book. So that's cool. And then this one I thought would be a cool, holiday book, but it doesn't say specifically it's holiday book. I just think, this time period gives me holiday vibes. It's called The Queer Principles of Kit Webb. It says, Kit Webb has left his stand-and-deliver adventures behind him, but dreary days at his coffee house have begun to make him pine for the heady rush of thievery. When a handsome yet arrogant aristocrat storms into his shop, Kit quickly realizes he may be unable to deny whatever this highborn man desires. In order to save himself and a beloved friend, Percy, Lord Holland, must go against every gentlemanly behavior he holds dear to gain what he needs most. A book that once belonged to his mother. A book his father never lets out of his sight, and that could be Percy's salvation. More comfortable in silk-filled ballrooms than coffee houses frequented by criminals, Percy finds that his attempts to hire the roughly hewn highwayman formerly known as Glad Hand Jack prove equal parts frustrating and electrifying. Kid refuses to participate in the robbery, but agrees to teach Percy how to do the deed. Percy knows he has little choice but to submit, and as the lessons in thievery begin, he discovers thief isn't the only crime he's desperate to commit with Kit. But when their careful plan goes dangerously wrong, and shocking revelations threaten to tear them apart, can these stolen hearts overcome the impediments in their path? So, I think this looks very interesting and very, holiday vibes for the time period. It seems like, holiday, Christmassy time period, and the cover is really cool. But yeah, those are the books I got today, and I'm pretty excited to read them. I'm actually going to read and watch a movie tonight. I found a queer holiday movie to watch tonight. It's November when I'm recording this. I don't know when I'm going to put it up, but it's November when I'm recording this. So, I think I'm going to watch a queer holiday movie and read my books. Let's look at our books. Let's spin the wheel and see if we can get... No, let's pick a seasonal book. Because I also got... Let me tell you about these Audible books that I got while I was at Barnes & Noble. Because some books that I looked up at Barnes & Noble, they didn't have. So, they didn't have Scorched Grace, which is a queer mystery series. And they didn't have Season of Love, which is a holiday book. Where, let me go to it.
This?
So, Miriam Bloom has no choice but to face the past she thought she'd left behind when she inherits her great-aunt's Christmas tree farm in a witty, glittering, heart-filled rom-com with all the warm, queer, Jewish holiday vibes you could possibly want. So it says, thanks to her thriving art career, Miriam Bloom finally has her decoupage glitter ducks in a row, until devastating news forces her to a very unwanted family reunion. Her beloved great-aunt Cass has passed away, and left Miriam part owner of Kerrigan's, her ironically Jewish-run Christmas tree farm. So it's like a rom-com, and then someone else is also going to run the farm with her, but she doesn't want to run the farm at all. So they end up butting heads, and so it seems really interesting, and I got it on Audible. But yeah. So, let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see if we can get a seasonal book. Alright, we got historical fiction. So that gives us our seasonal, the queer principles of Kit Webb. So we'll add that one to our list and read that. So I've come on to update you about the books I'm reading in this reading by genre vlog. So I read already. I've read I've read 6 books, and I did not finish 3 books I'm not gonna finish. And then I replaced some books that I'm not finishing. So for vampires, instead of Witchblood, I'm gonna read Garlic and the Vampire. And then for corny romance, I'm just not reading that one. And then Set in Space, I'm replacing that one with Space Battle Lunchtime, Volume 2. So we're going to read that. But so far we've read, for historical fiction, we read The Prince and the Dressmaker. Murder mystery, we read Goldie Vance, which is more of just a mystery. And then crime fighters, we read Heavy Vinyl Volume 1. Dark humor, we read Convenience Store Woman. Historical fantasy, we read The Princess and the Grilled Cheese. Fantasy humor, So This Is Ever After is what we read. We read So This Is Ever After. And then for vampires, we're gonna read Garlic and the Vampire. Corny Romance is out. And then Set in Space, we're gonna read Space Battle Lunchtime. And then after we read those 2, the vlog will be ending. I'm gonna wrap it up. So, yeah. So I'll catch you in the next clip. Okay, I'm back at Half Price Books, and I'm gonna actually return 2 books. This book, Delilah Green Doesn't Care and Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. I already returned Delilah Green Doesn't Care on Audible. I listened to about 15 minutes and I wasn't into it, so I'm returning the series. Yeah, maybe I'll try it again another time, but I just wasn't into it. It was a little too spicy for me. So if you like spice and like corny romance, maybe you'll be into it, but yeah, not for me. But okay, I'll see you in the next clip. Okay, so we're back at Barnes & Noble, and I'm picking up some books that I ordered. Now they're here and they're ready. It's the Mirror Lake series. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, let's go. Okay, I ended up last night staying on the phone with the vet all night because I came home and George had eaten a whole bag of Ginger Chews and the packaging and stuff, so I stayed on the phone with the vet all night, and I ended up watching him for the rest of the night and trying to figure out if he was okay. So I didn't get to show you my books. He's fine. I just dropped him off at the vet today for his regular appointment, but he's doing fine. But I want to show you my books. I got the Mirror Lake series. So I have Cold Clay, Mirror Lake, Shady Hollow, and Twilight Falls, the new one, the brand new one. I'm pretty excited about it. It says reporter. I think Shady Hollow is the first one. Let me read it to you. It says Okay, yes, the first book in the Shady Hollow series, in which we are introduced to the village of Shady Hollow, a place where woodland creatures live together in harmony until a curmudgeonly toad turns up dead, and the local reporter has to solve the case. So that's exciting. And next July, they're coming out with another book. So I'm excited about that. I want to pre-order it on Audible, but maybe when it gets closer. I don't know. I really want it though. So I don't know. And then you see my new sweatshirt? It's a Quark's bar from Star Trek. So that's exciting. And let me pull out my phone, because we're gonna wrap up the vlog here. So this was reading by genre, this vlog, and I was trying out something new where instead of the roulette picking a random book, it picked a random genre and then I picked the book. And I liked it, but I still ended up not finishing a lot of books. So, yeah. So, I read for historical fiction, The Prince and the Dressmaker. Murder mystery, I read Goldie Vance, Volume 1. For crime fighters, I read Heavy Vinyl. For dark humor, I read Convenience Store Woman. For historical fantasy, I read The Princess and the Grilled Cheese. For fantasy humor, I read So This Is Ever After. And then for vampires, I read Garlic and the Vampire. And then corny romance and set in space, I didn't read. So, yeah, so corny romance and set in space, I didn't read. And then The Prince and the Dressmaker was really nice. I love the artwork, and I would like to see more from that author. I liked their artwork and the story. I would read another book by them. It was about this prince, and he wanted to dress up in dresses and go to balls and events as a princess. And I thought it was very cool. Like, the dresses were amazing. The story was really cool. He just wanted to be himself. So that was really cool. And they don't say that they're trans or that they change their pronouns or anything, so that's why I'm referring to them as him, because in the book they refer to themselves as him. So yeah. And then murder mystery, I went with Goldie Vance, which I liked, which was also a queer story. You don't know until about the end, but I liked it a lot. It was like very vintage style, very like cute, and like the clothing, and the hairstyles were very cute. And I really liked it. And the characters were awesome. At first I wasn't into it because I felt like the dialogue was really wordy, but I got into it and I liked the adventure. I thought actually it wrapped up too soon. Like, it could have been longer. So I did like Goldie Vance. And then crime fighters, I read Heavy Vinyl, which I felt was almost like watching a movie. I really liked that graphic novel. These first three are all graphic novels. And I really liked that graphic novel. The artwork was really nice. It was very crisp. It was very beautiful. And the characters were awesome. That's also a queer story. And then for dark humor, I read Convenience Store Woman, which may or may not be a queer story. She mentions at one point that she might be asexual, but she doesn't confirm it or deny it or anything, so who knows. But I really liked that book. It was like very like dry, funny, like dark funny. There were a lot of dark humor moments, and it was pretty awesome. And it was pretty short. It was only like 3 hours. I listened to it on Audible. I listened to it in one morning. I woke up like super early one morning, and I just wanted to listen to it. So it was really good. I definitely recommend it. And so after I listened to that, I immediately got the other book by this woman, or this person, called Earthlings, and that looks really good. And I can't really tell you the story about Earthlings. Either the person thinks they're not from Earth, or they're visited by aliens and they have to save Earth. So this is just for me reading about the book, so I'm not confident in what it's about, but it looked interesting, so I'm interested in reading it because I like anything to do with aliens, and me being an alien myself, so yeah. And then I read the graphic novel for historical fantasy, The Princess and the Grilled Cheese. That artwork was amazing. There was this part in the book where it's like set in the past, but then they have a Nintendo Switch, so it was pretty funny. So I really liked the story. I liked in the back they tell you more about the author. I liked that. I liked so much about this book. It was really good. The Princess and the Grilled Cheese, and the story was great. It was very like funny, but then it got a little emotional, and there was like activism. It was cool. And then fantasy humor, we read So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens, and I am very into F.T. Lukens right now. I read In Deeper Waters, and now I've read So This Is Ever After. And So This Is Ever After was really good too. So in this story, this guy, he's like, he's on like a quest to rid this kingdom of this evil king. And he does that. This is all in the back of the book, so I'm not spoiling anything. He does that, but then he finds out that there's like a princess that he has to save so that she can take over as rightful ruler. But then that princess is dead, so he has to be king. But to be king, you have to find your true love, or else you die. So he spends the book trying to find his true love. And it's pretty funny, and it's pretty, like, some dark humor. It's pretty good. It's really good. I really liked it a lot. I'll definitely be reading more F.T. Lukens and any authors that's similar to him. Or them. Yeah. And then for vampires, I was going to read Witchblood, but I didn't finish it. I liked Witchblood. I liked the artwork. I liked the colors. I liked the style of it, but I just couldn't get into it really. And I want to read it later, so this is just a DNF for now. I read instead Garlic and the Vampire, which was very cute. I even bought the second book, Garlic and the Witch, so I can't wait to read that too. Garlic and the Vampire is about this like a live garlic who goes to fight a vampire, but then it doesn't turn out how the garlic really plans. So it was really good. And then for corny romance, we were supposed to read Delilah Green Doesn't Care, but I ended up returning all my copies of Delilah Green Doesn't Care because it started with like a spicy scene, and I am not into spice really at all. So I just couldn't get into it. I read about 15 minutes and they were naked the whole time, and I was just kind of like, I couldn't get into it. So I gave that one back. And then Set in Space, A Closed and Common Orbit. I started reading that a long time ago, and I stopped reading it for some reason. It wasn't bad or anything. I just randomly stopped reading it. And I didn't even start it this time. I really wasn't into it. So we didn't read that one, The Set in Space. And I was planning on reading instead Space Battle Lunchtime, but I wanted to end this vlog so that I could start the cozy vlog I want to do next. So we're not going to read that. We're just going to end it here. And yeah, so that's my wrap up for this vlog. Our reading by genre, QTBIPOC reading vlog. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had fun. I had fun reading all these. I hope you found a book that you like, or you're gonna try some of these books. Let me know if you try any of these books. Yeah, so have fun out there. Bye.